come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, so much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause you know as well as I do, the only way is putting more effort and less play.
Yes, it is time for us to put more effort into building this place, transforming this place we call home. We have a duty to make it better for our children and children. I want to welcome you to this segment in the Dynamic Hour, where I will speak, laying a solid foundation for meaningful engagement. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to continue sharing the live. It is important to do so. I want to say here that there is this idea from the NNP camp that the NDC should not be continuing programs and projects that the NNP started or secured funding for. It's this weird idea from them which says you're in government, you should come up with all your new ideas, your new plans and programs. And all that we have started, you should not continue it. Right? All that we have started, you should not continue it. And those that we have gotten funding for, you should not continue it. That's the idea that you get from the NNP, because they seem to be upset that the NDC came into office and met some programs, met some projects, and continued with it, making sure that they are either, for example, a project completed, or for a program that they enhance it and continue with it. So you have the NNP PRO, you have surrogates and pundits of the NNP always saying, well, where are your new projects? Where are your new programs? All that you're doing are programs and projects that we have started or that we have secured financing or funding for. But they're seeking to fool their supporters because government is a continuous process or a continuum. A party loses, another party wins, and they continue to govern. You don't need to come into government and halt all that you meet or stop everything from moving. Then it means that people will be out of a job. It means the economy will slow down. It means people will be disgruntled and bitter, and there will be instability within the country, right? But the previous NDC when they came into power, there was some halting of projects and programs. There was review of projects and programs, and that killed time. That slowed down the economy, and there were some concerns that came out of that. But this NDC is different. They came into office, they came into power, and they continued the good projects and programs of the previous administration. They expanded on some, they enhanced some they just continued with it. Because in some instances, financing was secured already for some of these programs and projects. And nothing is wrong with that. If it is good, you keep it. If it is bad, you get rid of it. Or if you see a way to enhance it, to fix it, to adjust it, then that is what you need to do. So NNP being out there, bitter, sour, angry, and every time you on a program, every time they open their mouth, they would point a finger to say, well, where are your projects? And why you're executing our projects? Why you're continuing with our projects and the programs? That is what they would be saying over and over and over again. But any reasonable thinking person would say, but what you expect them to do? You expect NDC, after NNP being in power for so long, to just come and scrap everything and start afresh with everything? Come on. So it's nonsensical. It is silly. It is stupid for the NNP to continue saying this nonsense, because Grenadians have moved past that. Grenadians already know that government is a continuum. Government come, government go, but you have to govern. You have to continue moving. You have to continue delivering and bringing benefits to our people. So, typical example, the NDC came in power. They met the train already in motion for the Grenada Christian Academy, that school. You expect the NDC to halt the construction of a school? You expect the NDC to cancel the contract and everything for a school? No. What millions and millions of dollars that would impact the Pearls area, Paradise area, Upper St. John, Hermitage, that area in a positive way? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And that is what the NNP is saying here. The NNP is saying, where are your projects? Where are your programs? Why are you executing what you met? Why are you continuing with what you met? Well, that's good governance. Continuing the good things that you met there, that's good governance. That's smart leadership. But to them, what they think the NDC should do when they came into power, just close down everything, shut down everything, halt everything. That is what they're of that. That is the position that they are taking. That is the view that they have. I'll give you another example. The Fort George project, $20 million to enhance the fort, to make it more attractive for tourists. The NDC came into power and they realized that the NNP did not execute the project, did not implement the project. Yes, funding was secured, but since in 2016, 2017 down there, right? 2017, I think, the NNP never did anything to the project to implement it, to get it off the ground. Yes, you could secure funding. Yes, you could have the drawings and everything like that. The NDC came into power and they were able to implement the project. Okay, you expected the NDC to abandon the project and not implement it? Do you know how many jobs were created by them implementing the project? Same thing with the Grenada Christian Academy School. I mean, just think about it. The NDC came into power. They met the UK SIF project, right? And when they realized the UK SIF project was there since 2016, somewhere down there, and how they get to know that this thing is there or was there is when the United Kingdom decided, well, since 2016, the funding was made available for you to do the project, right? The I think it's the water sustainability something project, where they bringing water down to the south and fixing the sewer and all that kind of thing. All right. So when they discover that, the UK say, well, it was there, you did not utilize it, and the UK don't care which government was in power. So the NNP was in power. They didn't utilize the money. They didn't implement the project. They don't care who government is in power. It's the government of Grenada. They just continue because it's a new party, but it is still the government of Grenada, right? So they took back the financing, the funding, and it took the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and the honorable Andy Williams and the others to fight to get it back. They did not get the full $80 million back, but they got 70. They got $70 million. It was $80 million, and it's not money that the government of Grenada has to pay back. It's grant. Still, the NNP did not implement that particular project. So it was $10 million for the Western Main Road development and $70 million for the improvement of water, down to the south, and the sewer problem, from St. George's all the way down to the south. But I'm saying the NDC got it back and they implementing it. So you think that the NDC should not implement that because you were in power and you secured the funding, and yes, you did not implement it, so the UK government took it back, the NDC fought back for it, they got it. I mean, just think about it. You hear the NNP from time to time saying, well, where are your projects? Where are your new projects? I mean, I heard Tiki Taka on GBN making similar statements. He's the PRO of the new nasty party, or the new national party, right? Correction, the new national party. And I say to myself, but I heard that from so many of the people within NNP. And I'm asking, because they would say, well, the Imani training program, that's a NNP flagship program. Okay. Well, the NDC came into power and they met hundreds of young people in the program. Some of them being in the program for 5 and 6 and 7 years, when the program was meant for them for only 18 months or 2 years. But do you think the NDC should come into power and just get rid of the program just like that? No. What the NDC did was engage the trainees. I remembered vividly, they met with them because they wanted to update the registry, to know how many Imani trainees are still around and in what areas they were in. So they did that and they explained to them the new version in going forward. They said to them, look, you can't be a trainee for life. You have to transition to actual work. You have to be in a job. All right? They increased their stipend from $700, $800. Some was getting $900 and $1,000. They increased that to $1,200 across the board. Every Imani trainee, they were getting $1,200. And they're still getting that as a stipend. But the NDC met that program there. So what they have been doing is transitioning. They engage the private sector, who had a number of them who were training on the job. And they said to the private sector, you have to assess the trainees, those who meet your standard and requirement, you have to make them permanent, or else we cannot continue to pay for these people to be on the job after this amount of time. Free labor, taxpayers paying for them to work for you in your company or in your business. And if you could keep them so long, then they are good enough to be kept on the job. So the transition process started, which is a good thing. It's a great thing to get these people permanent jobs within the public sector. The Imani trainees, they will be assessed, they will be appraised, and those who meet the standard requirements, those who pass the test, when you assess them, evaluate them, punctuality, competence, being progressive in the job, attaining more qualification over that period of time and that kind of thing, attitude, and then they will be made permanent within the public service. That is what's supposed to happen. But nothing is wrong with that. But the NNP is of the view that the NDC should come into power and just scrap the program or leave the program as it was under them. Come on. It's not logical. You have the Empower program again. The NNP saying, well, where are your programs? Where are your projects? Why are you continuing with ours? Why you this? Why are you implementing ours? Okay. The NDC came in and they met the Empower program there with hundreds of young men in that program. You expect the NDC to scrap the program, halt the program, get rid of the program? Come on. No. No, there is good in everything. There is good in everything. And there is bad. But you could work to improve the good and get rid of the bad. Simple like that. So the NDC came in, they increased the stipend for the trainees from $700 to $1,000. They increased the grant that they would get after completing the training from $2,400 to $3,000. And they continue to enroll the young men into that program. What is wrong with that? So why the NNP is upset? Why they vex? Because the NDC is continuing these things. In fact, the NNP should be proud that the NDC is continuing some of the programs and projects that they started or that were in the pipeline. They should be happy with that. What's wrong with that? Come on. There are new things that the NDC did since coming into office. There are new programs, new projects, but there are programs and projects that they met. the Molyneux project, for example, that road, the NNP is of the view that the NDC should have their own programs and own projects, and why you continue with theirs and why you. So in Keith Mitchell constituency, that particular project was one that everybody wanted to see complete because the traffic used to go up Mount Morris and then into Happy Hill. Narrow roads, real problems, right? So people wanted to see that road fixed. The NDC came in, they started the process, and they fixed it. The only thing to be done there is the asphalt paving, and that will be done over a period of time. But vehicles are able to pass there, and it's 90-something% complete. All right? We can say maybe 98% complete. But come on. So you don't think that the NDC should have continued with the project and complete the project? You think they should just scrap it, forget about it? I mean, it's just not logical. So the NNP is of the view that NDC should just halt these things, stop these things. You come in, start your own thing. And the Calivini Main Road project, for example, the NDC came and they made that project there. But what they did when they realized that the project was really to use the same width of road, not even cutting the rocks and putting sidewalks and all these different things, because you have people living there and you have more bigger trucks on the road. The NDC went back to the drawing board and they revised the thing, they enhanced it, they made some changes, and they get the project going. What you expect the NDC to do? To abandon it? To forget about it? I mean, it's just not. And that is why the NNP is where they are at this point in time. People are moving away from the NNP. People are moving away from the New National Party. Because when they hear the rhetoric, when they hear that kind of information coming from the NNP, people wonder. The St. Andrew Anglican School, right? That school that was destroyed by fire and so on. The NDC came into power and they met the drawings and other things there, right? They were able to secure the financing and so on. But it's something that the NNP conceptualized, all right? The NDC came into power and they are now implementing the project. So you believe that the NDC should abandon that, stop it, halt it? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense, right? And then the NDC is now building, they intend to build the St. David Catholic Secondary School in the Malmont area, all right? So what you want the NDC to do, not do that? Come on. So just like the youth program, Elevator, that's a new program by the NDC. That's a new initiative. Youth in agriculture, that's a new initiative. Women in agriculture, that's a new initiative. Come on. What's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. No, nothing is wrong with that. I am saying the NNP, they're acting like children, like kids. This is mine. I'm the one who did this. And I expect when you come in to scrap it and mash it up and start your thing from afresh. Yeah, that's how they're acting. They're acting just that way, like political children, like kids. Yes, they're in the politics, but they're acting like kids. And we have to call them out. Because it's not like the money coming from NNP pocket. That's taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' money. So you expect to see a party coming into power identifying the good things that the previous administration did and continuing with that and introducing some new stuff. All right? That is what, look, the police headquarters, for example, the NNP had that down for years that they wanted to build a police headquarters, but the NDC came in and they got the police a headquarters. They built a headquarters, they fixed it, they refurbished the building, they bought it and they upgraded it, and so the police have a headquarters now. What is wrong with that? The police, they were fighting for pay and grade for decades to get some more money on their salary. Well, the NDC came into power and they did it. They gave them pay and grade. What's wrong with that? The pensioners, they were marching in the streets for their pension and their gratuity. Come on. The NDC came into power and they paid them their pension and their gratuity. What is wrong with that? You tell me, what is wrong with that? It's just sad that the NNP is angry, they're bitter, that the NDC did not come into power and stop these things and halt these things, but instead they continued with some of these programs and projects. They enhanced many of them and they introduced some new. The Tissue Culture Lab, it's a new thing the NDC introduced. The livestock breeding program where they bring in some hybrid animals and they crossbreeding them and so on. That's a new initiative. The coconut, revitalizing the coconut industry, bringing in 3,000 coconut plants. Come on, that's a new initiative. That's good. That's wonderful. What is wrong with that? Come on, man. The NNP is upset. They vex. The bi-monthly salary payment, that's a new initiative by the NDC. What's wrong with that? Huh? The minimum wage adjustment, seeing our people getting better salaries. What is wrong with that? That's new. NDC introduced that. And we can go on and on and on. Look at the amount of people who are getting homes or material assistance. 3,000 something people got assisted with materials. That's a lot. Look at the amount of Build Back Better homes and ordinary homes that they are building for people who never had a home or who house was in disrepair or really dilapidated. What is wrong with the NDC doing these things? The WASH program, well, the NNP said, well, look, we started a bathroom building program. But if you go and you look at the 20-something bathrooms that the NNP built close to the election, in some instances, there is no water, no running water in the house. But they built it because the NNP supporter and they call them poor and vulnerable. There is no toilet or sink in the house. Some areas, if they have sink, they don't have a toilet. The septic tank is undone. And that kind of thing. That is what they did. So the NDC came into power and they decided, after seeing the statistics, because the NNP left 8,715 people still using pit latrines and have no running water and so on and so forth, right? They decided to build modern bathroom and toilet facilities for these people, step by step by step. What is wrong with that? So the WASH program, they're doing a fantastic job. What is wrong with that? The JUMP program, providing internet access to families or households without. That's a new initiative. But what's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. You have to marry what you met there with the new ones. The NDC embarking upon the new teaching hospital facility. They got the lands and that kind of stuff. What is wrong with that? The NDC came into power. They got 2 ambulances only recently for the hospital. They gave the hospital a new modern kitchen. What is wrong with that? That's good. We have more flights in and out of Grenada. That's a good thing. You expect the NDC to come into power and see upgrades being done to the airport, the Maurice Bishop International Airport, and stop it and halt it? Huh? Come on. The repaving of the runway, the um the expansion of the airport and so on. You expect them to just stop all of that? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But the NNPs of the view, every time they open them out on a program, well, where is your new program? Where is your new project? Where is your new this? And why you? And all of this is ours. And well, it's taxpayers' damn money. It's not yours. Who the hell you think you are? Huh? You think Keith Mitchell going to take money from his 19 or whatever million and inject it in any program or any project? Keith Mitchell, and he doesn't even have a pig pen in this place to create 5 jobs. Huh? I mean, it's just stupid. It's just stupid, totish on the part of the New National Party, their pundits, their zygotes and sycophants. It's a level of lunacy in the politics. So you hear them saying that over and over and over again, and you wonder, even in Carriacou, when the Honorable Tevin decided to fix the Windward fish market, the NNP say, well, there's a fish market there, and we're going to do it too, and give me a damn break. It's being done. Celebrate it. Beryl Pass, the different schools were refurbished. Well, they needed to be refurbished even before Beryl Pass. The police station needed to be refurbished and renovated even before Beryl Pass. And medical station and hospital and all these different things. Because the NNP left it in disrepair. Right? You have a bigger flight or jet flying into Lauriston, thanks to the NDC. And what's wrong with that? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. There are people who are getting assistance with a home or they're building back better. What's wrong with that? Huh? What is wrong with that? Businesses giving assistance to bounce back. What is wrong with that? Celebrate that now. But no. See, the NNP, they're so damn bad-minded and nasty with themselves. They believe if the NDC do these things, then the NDC stand a good chance of winning all these different seats and remaining in power for a long time. And what's wrong with that? If they're performing, if they're doing well, then they should remain in power. It is simple like that. And it's that. It's, sometimes you listen to the NNP, goons, zygotes, and sycophants, and you wonder, are they really patriotic? Are they really genuine? The free tuition policy, you hear Kate Lewis running she mouth. I wanted to say something else, but I just hold up, right? Because you know me. You hear running she mouth. And you wonder, the thing is a good thing. There are a lot of young people who are benefiting from it. Right? A lot of parents who are happy. It's a good thing. You have a lot of young people who go into TAMCC and NULO. It's what it is. It's a good thing. Happy now. Project 500. It's a good thing. What they're trying to build Grenada-style homes. What is wrong with that? It's a good thing. Kate Lewis, you political lunatic. It's a good thing. Gal, it's a good thing. Kate Lewis, gal, it's a good thing. And it started in your constituency. Your political lunatic like you. Right in your constituency. That's where they started in Dunfermline. But you have all kind of, you're too politically dumb. What's wrong with them starting such an initiative in your constituency? You should be happy. You should be jumping for joy. But no, you like to see your constituents and the people in that constituency poor and catching the royal. When you think about these things, you get uptight and upset. You say to yourself, but you should be happy. What is wrong with that? Come on. Folks, after Hurricane Beryl, you see so many farmers receive or receiving assistance. A lot of assistance in so many different areas. The NNP still vex about that. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. What's wrong with that? So every time they go on a program, you know, you hear them talking about, well, it's our project and it was in the pipeline, or it's our program. Where are your programs? Where are your initiatives? Well, you've been there for a long time. Huh? You're an old jack donkey politically. You've been there long, long, long. You've been there long. You're like the donkey that Miss Peggy and Peggy, what was the husband name by? I forget, yes. Jojo and them probably Jojo and Miss Peggy of Mount Plaisy. What you call him? Jam, a old man they call Jam. Right? That donkey couldn't dare that tala, just they. And they walk in the donkey. And then people like Jam Donkey and Miss Peggy and them donkey in the politics. You've been there a long, long time. A long time. And you know the donkey couldn't do what he's supposed to do to make, to make something and. But anyways, I'm saying you've been there a long, long time. You hear me? A long time. So it's expected that you set a foundation and you do something. You hear them talk about, well, you meet a pregnant treasury. NNP are a little damn bad-minded. When they came into power, when Keith Mitchell and NNP and them came into power in 1995, they met Grenada credit-worthy. You hear me? The debt of the country was just $340 million. That's all we owed anybody around the world. That's all we owed, And the NNP brought the debt from there to $1 billion. So when this old jagabat and them politically come and talk, I just feel to go under Miss Mary bed and take the stale pee, and just, war with them. All you think, all you smart, all you not smart. You're dumb politically. It's simple like that. So you hear Keith Mitchell and those political lunatics talking about NDC came into power and met a pregnant treasury. Well, let's do the math. You came into power, the NNP, because they believe that we forget history. They believe that it happened in 1995 to 2008. So they believe that we forget that period. NDC was there. You remember structural adjustment, all the different measures to make Grenada credit-worthy. They left Grenada in a credit-worthy state. All the government of Grenada was owing was $340 million. No country in the Western Hemisphere was actually owing that little in terms of amount in debt. All right? So NDC brought the debt down to that. NNP came and they brought the debt to $1.6 billion. $1.6 billion, So they're talking about, well, they met $500 million there. They met $400 million there. It cannot be compared to what the NDC did. It can't. It just cannot. And I want to hold those political lunatics in a debate, because this thing is common sense. You bring the debt up to $1.6 billion. Do you know how much $500 million is in that $1.6 billion? 3. 500 million plus 500 million is $1 billion. Another 500 million, that's 1.5 billion. And then you have 100 million. I mean, I listen to those NNP and them and watch. They could only fool their supporters because the majority of their supporters cannot read, cannot write, and cannot reason. So I don't worry in these political lunatics, I'm telling you, I don't. And the majority of Grenadians are not worried about these people. Because if you sit down and you do actual reasoning, you would realize that chalk and cheese, man. You understand the point? Tell me. So the NDC, they expected the NDC to come in and meet an empty treasury. Because mind you, this NNP is notorious for emptying the treasury, You think they're good? They're nasty, they're wicked, they're bad-minded. They're like a father who inherited, or if not inherited, but got lands, house, money, and has 3 children, and bad-minded, decided, well, I ain't giving them nothing. He squanders everything. Right? Goes to the whole house and spend everything. Or he drinks it out, he smokes it out, he just, squander it. And then he dies a pauper, and they have to come back and bury him. That's how the NNP operated, I'm telling you. There was a period in 2008 when NDC won the election. The NNP went on a spending spree. They're nasty, they're dirty, they're bad-minded, they're wicked, they're not damn good. They went on a spending spree to empty the treasury because they knew that they were going to lose the election. When NDC came, they had to start from scratch. But boy, thank God Almighty, this time wrong, they thought they were going back in power, and they get one political jab, one political, watch. Some of them can't recover still. They left their blazers and jackets in the offices, and they couldn't go back for it. They never expected the NDC to win. So they stockpiled money remain there in government coffers. That is why they're hurting, They're hurting because of that. Because in 2008, they emptied the treasury leading up to the election. And I challenge some of those NNP political lunatics. Let's have a conversation about it. Let us have a conversation about it. You see, they never thought that the NDC was going to win. So they stockpiled the thing. In the lead up to the election, they tried to spend it, They tried to spend it. Remember, they did a little concrete project here, about 52 point something million dollars. They spent out within weeks, Within weeks of the election. Concrete project here, concrete this, concrete that, all in your backyard, you're getting concrete. All inside you. You understand the point? But they're upset. They're upset that the NDC came into power and met a foundation. So what's wrong with that? You have a shop 23 years. You expect when you passing it over, or if you die, because the NNP suffered a political death. So you die politically, you expect your child to come and get a shop, inherit a shop with no goods in it, no fridge, no TV, no counter, no nothing. A little bad-minded. NNP a little nasty and bad-minded and dirty. All you ain't good. All you know damn good. And I say this loud. All you know good. So when you hear them talking about, well, it's our project, and it's our program, and it's our this, and where is yours? Move there, NNP, move there. I go to say mash, Move there, all you come last. Move. Be happy. Be joyous. Be glad that the NDC is continuing some of these projects and programs. Be happy that people are getting jobs and opportunities. Be happy that people's standard of living is improving. The condition is improving. Be happy about that now. It's like, the NNP getting on like a neighbor, playing that they nice with you, but the minute time, you start putting on a little bathroom and toilet. A minute time, you start doing a little veranda, a little concrete veranda, or your child get a little scholarship. or you do a like a downstairs, or you put water in your house. You know, the minute time you do this thing, you buy like a car, they vex, they angry, and you passing and say, what the hell I do that woman? All the time we good. What do her? Huh? What do her? We good? Not knowing that she upset that you decide to build a concrete bathroom and toilet facility, a little veranda, buy a little car to take your children to and from school or to work, build a little downstairs, your child get a scholarship. They want to bite out your ears. That's how the NNP operating, you know. That is how they covetous. They hypocrite. Yeah. They evil. That's the NNP. That is why when I heard Tiki Taka talking this rubbish on the GBN program, I just laugh. And mind you, hear this. You know they're talking all this mess, all this nonsense, and they're not getting traction. Let me tell you, if you observe the NNP, their main flagship program is talking points, right? Talking points as their main program. The NNP main program. They have some other jagabats on other programs talking nonsense and so on, but their main program is talking points with Sheldon Scott, the Tomcat. So if you check, this guy has been there talking, bumping his gum, opening his labas, and he would know what is a labas because he has roots in Trinidad. And so take a pen. The last program he did, 2,700 people viewed that program, and he had Nolan Cox, my good partner, on. Poor Nolan Cox. The program before that, he run him out about Lennox Andrews, my good pal, the Honorable Lennox Andrews. He got 3,900 views. Program before that, he bumpy gum about NDC ex-ministers and that, and the budget and all kind of nonsense there, registration and so on. He got 3,200 people who view him on because they use YouTube. The program before that, he got 3,900 people viewing him. All right, that's on. We're taking the last 5 programs, and the program after that, he got 3,500 people viewing him. All right, and that's on YouTube. All right, so on Facebook, because they run their program, you know, concurrently, Facebook and YouTube, just as I do on this program. All right. So on Facebook, same 5 programs, right? Same 5 programs I'm looking at, and because I'm adding it up because they run it concurrently. The people who view on Facebook may not be the people on YouTube. So that same last program, they got 1,700 people on Facebook. The one before that, they got 3,700 people on Facebook, right? The one before that, they got 4,000 people viewing. The one before that, they got 3,700 people viewing. And the one before that, they got 3,400 people viewing. All right? So that's the last 5 programs that he did. Facebook and YouTube. All right? And we can safely say the main program for the NDC and the government is my program, or the people's program, the 2 programs that I do. All right? So if you go back and you look at the programs that I do in terms of the numbers, because that's important. That's very, very important. The last 5 programs. If you look at the last 5 programs that I did, and you look at the numbers, right? So the last 5 programs. The last program, 17,400 people viewed that. That's last night. The program before that, that's on Facebook, 33,700 people viewed that. The program before that, 13,100 people viewed that. The program before that, 11,400 people viewed that. And the program before that, 15,200 people viewed that. And I have to go to YouTube now, right? Because remember, it's both of them. And then you go Vision Information Services on YouTube. And you look at the last 5 programs there too, right? So I don't really focus heavily on YouTube, but nevertheless. So the last program on YouTube last night, 1,400 people viewed that. The last program after that, the one before that, 1,900 people viewed that. The one before that, 2,400 people viewed that. The one before that, 2,400 people viewed that. And the one before that, 1,800 people viewed that. So that's the 2 main programs. The main flagship program really for the NDC and the government is my programs. The NDC, they do a heartbeat thing every Sunday, but that's minor. That's insignificant. All right? Talking about weekly thing. So do the maths. This thing is not no rocket science. So, you know me. I like data, I like statistics. Look at it. So you have, it's a big joke. Look, so the NNP, 2.7 plus 1.7 plus 3.9 plus 3.7 plus 3.2 plus 4.0 plus 3.9 plus 3.7 plus 3.5 plus 3.4 equal. So 33,700 people viewed that the five last programs of the NNP. Let's look at my programs. 17,000.4, right? 7,400, all right? Plus 1.4 plus 33.7 plus 1.9 plus 13.1 plus 2.4 plus 11.4 plus 2.4 plus 15.2 plus 1.8. That's 100,000, right? 100,000 plus 100,700, right? So in the 5 programs, so the 5 programs that I did, right? The 5, because I took the 5 programs from the NNP, the last 5 programs, and I took the last 5 programs that I did. 100,000 people plus viewed my program in the last 5 programs with Facebook and YouTube put together. I just did the calculation. The NNP flagship program, 33,700 people viewed their program. And any time, any day, I do the calculation for the 5 last programs of the NNP versus what I do, I'm beating them by a mile and a half. A mile and a half. So people, with all that they're saying and doing, people are not gravitating towards their program. And even if they're on GBN to the point, well, that program is not widely viewed or listened to. But even if they're there, people don't, the numbers are poor. So the maths, all you have to do is to just look at the statistics and you would gauge, just as you're doing a poll, and you would realize that people prefer to listen to my programs than theirs. People love the message, the content of my program than theirs. And mind you, their program is carried on a radio station that is not very popular. You hear me? And it can't reach all about. Not plenty people listening to it. But our program is carried on Vibes FM 101.3 and 106.3. It could be heard everywhere and anywhere in Grenada. Very popular indeed. So I am saying the evidence is there to show that people are not gravitating towards the NNP. People are not interested in the NNP. So all out they talking about people. Tiki Taka said yesterday, more young people are this and more. How many young people gravitated towards the NNP in recent times? Huh? What's wrong with them? So the data, the numbers are not adding up to help them. More and more people are gravitating towards this message on the two programs that I do. And look, the evidence, I am not making this thing up. No, I'm not making this thing up. Nowadays, when a program that I do doesn't get 10,000 or more views, I delete it. I might leave it on YouTube, but I will just delete it. Because it doesn't meet the standard. That is how big we are in this business. That's how big we are. So, I want to get back to the point I was making when I started the program. The NNP is foolish to be out there talking about, well, this was our project and our program, and where are your program and where are your projects, and why you went do a new this and a new that. You're stupid politically. You're foolish politically. Government is a continuum. A party go, party come. You meet some good projects, good programs, you continue with it, you expand it, you enhance it, and you introduce some new things. Simple like that. All right? So, folks, I want to wish you all the best. Take good care. Have a wonderful day. I will be back with you tonight in the hub, starting from 8 in the PM.